Welcome to Horns High Studios for another episode of 666 Seconds of Murder. That means each one of these videos is less than 666 seconds or 11 minutes and 6 seconds. So let's get to business. Talking Idaho 4 again. And talking about Bethany. Talking about Bethany tonight. And remember, though, these videos that I do are for informational purposes only. My opinions and speculation. I'm not saying anyone's guilty of anything. That's for a court of law to decide. So that's all this is. We're just talking about a case that interests us. So most of us in this true crime community have some issues with Dylan and Bethany. I mean, major issues. The 8-hour delay in calling 911 is probably the thing that catches most people, especially in the beginning when they follow the Idaho 4 case. I mean, it remains a huge issue with me, and I'd like to concentrate this discussion on Bethany Funke instead of both Dylan and Bethany as a combination. I'd like to give some huge thanks to Blogger Girl, who is part of our community here. She is the person who won the contest and will be doing a video with me coming up soon. We did a video meeting and realized that she was super into this case and has done some very good research. So I definitely appreciate her contributions for this one. So thank you, Blogger Girl. I've raised issues with Bethany, and I have a question that she was even at the house when that happened. She may have not even been there. We just don't know. And I covered that in my Lambs to the Slaughter video, which was my theory of how I think this may have happened. I brought up the concept that, she may not have even been there and maybe just showed up that next morning. We just don't know. I mean, could she have been in her room the whole time, slept through the whole thing? I doubt it. I doubt it. Very, very unlikely. But, until we have evidence, we just don't know what happened with her. Now, I've heard some theories in the community, and some I've read in your comments, throwing out ideas that maybe Bryan Kohberger was dating Bethany, and that's why he was there that night. I don't know, or she was with him, don't know. That seems a little far-fetched to me. But, the fact that his phone was pinging in Moscow the following morning at 9 o'clock, some have speculated maybe he was bringing her home. Again, I'm really doubting that. But it's certainly possible. He's like 10 years older than her, and at that age, that's a pretty big age difference. Bethany is originally from Reno, Nevada, and I've read that Brian's father's family is also from Nevada. But that, that's obviously a big state, and, we just don't know. We just don't know. But, just throwing it out there. Now, there was some private investigator that was hired by Ann Taylor, which is Brian's attorney. His name is Robert Bettanti. And he filed he was noted in an affidavit of support of motion for out-of-state service. And he's attesting to the facts surrounding what she told the police. She was interviewed multiple times, according to that document. And wouldn't that be nice to be able to see that video of those interactions with police? She was present when the police showed up that following morning, and it says that that the bodies were discovered when they arrived. I don't know whether that means when she arrived and found the bodies, or it's just worded very vaguely. And the problem with these court documents that we've read in this case is a lot of the wording is very awkward or intentionally vague. So I don't know, but was she the one that found them? We don't. I'm not sure by reading that affidavit. The other major issue surrounding Bethany is the idea that she has exculpatory evidence, meaning that it would help the defendant. And that's why, they were trying to get her back to Idaho to testify in a pretrial, which we all know that wasn't necessary because they didn't have a pretrial. They used the grand jury to indict him. And, so that she wasn't needed to come back, But we all know that phrase, you could indict a ham sandwich. Well, that's, what they said in this case, with Bethany's testimony, wasn't even needed. So they indicted him. And we all know that, you could do an entire video on the grand jury system. Not every state uses that. And I think from what I've watched and read, it seems kind of like a joke. So what did she see? I've heard that she witnessed a naked man running out the back sliding door in the kitchen. Now, if that's true, is there something about that naked man that would confirm it wasn't Bryan Kohberger? Like, was he a different race? Different body type? I mean, there's got to be something that would, make this in the defendant's favor. And if that's the case, how the hell is it right to leave somebody languishing in jail for quite some time if somebody has evidence that would prove it wasn't him? That blows my mind. I couldn't even imagine being in that situation. If somebody's got solid evidence, let's hear it. I mean, what are we waiting for? It just seems incredibly unfair to put a person in jail when there's evidence that they can prove that they weren't the ones that did it. In my recent interview with Andrew Myers, the attorney, I asked him about the discovery requests and why the prosecution hasn't turned that stuff over. He said there are many reasons why they could be stalling to give them evidence, but with the gag order in place, we're not privy to that information. And, that gag order just keeps rearing its head, and I'm really frustrated by it. It's like everything's being done cloak and dagger with this Idaho 4 story. It's like a bad Lifetime movie or something like that, except this is a person's life we're talking about. If you want to watch that interview I did with Andrew Myers, I've got it in my on my channel under the interviews playlist. So check that out. I'll link to that in the episode description. And even if he's found innocent, I mean, this guy's life has been completely turned upside down, but I guess he would have one hell of a book to write if that happens. I know I'd be buying a copy. What does the prosecutor do at that point? Start going back through the case and looking at some of these other shady characters out there? If it ends up happening, what a total waste of time and money. Of course, all we can do is speculate, and I know I speak for myself when I say that, all I want is for the person or persons to be captured, convicted, and put in prison, and be done with it. And if it's the death penalty, then so be it. I know that Bethany is engaged now and wants to move on with her life. I mean, I completely get that. I think anybody would understand that. I can't imagine, what this has done to her life. But if she's got some sort of information, or if she's part of this whole situation, then she needs to be held accountable. And at a minimum, the issue of not reporting the bodies until 8 hours later certainly would bear some charges. Again, though, was she even there at the house? I know that people often rat out anybody when they're backed into a corner by the police. So if she was pushed into that corner, who knows what she may have said, or maybe they gave her immunity for some reason, or if she told them something that wasn't lining up with their case, would that change how she was being handled? I just get the sense a lot of backroom shenanigans going on with this, and I wish she would just tell the truth and expose the whole mess if she knows. I realize, why she's got a lawyer. It makes sense. I mean, it's smart. It's the smart thing to do in this situation, but it's just incredibly frustrating to those of us that want answers. Now, it was revealed recently that police got a warrant for TikTok and Instagram in July of last year for the accounts of Ethan, Dylan, and Bethany up to the present time, which is really strange. So not sure what's up with that. But I want to thank Blogger Girl again for the assistance with this one. But you guys post the comments. I read them all. I try to comment in as many as I can, and I sure appreciate that. I also appreciate the Horns Eye Club. You guys are awesome. If you guys want to join, you can do that and become a member, and it's $1.99 a month. So thank you for checking out another episode of 666 Seconds of Murder.